ready? We will now call this meeting together, Monday, April 7th, 2008. We will have the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation will be by the Reverend Jimmy Williams from Greater New Mountain Zion AME Church. The Pledge of Allegiance with the Police Explorers and Councilman Nelson. Would you please stand with me?
Let us bow our heads in prayer. Gracious and eternal, everlasting God, God of God, God who loves and the God who sustains all of our lives. God, we pray now at this City Council meeting of Homestead that you govern this meeting the way you would like, that all the outcomes come out the way you would like, and bless all of the council persons and the mayor and the vice mayor in their decision making and the staff. And this we pray. Amen.
Amen.
On our attention, can't be cut. Open bar. Letter 9. Present arms.
Would you all please join with me in doing the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order arms. Right face. Open arms.
Thank you. You may be seated. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Bell?
Here.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Present.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Here.
Councilman McCormick?
Here.
Councilman Nelson?
Here.
Councilwoman Sierra?
Here.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Here. Thank you. Additions, deletions, and deferrals?
Mayor, council members, there are 3 items, and James is going to read them.
They're listed under 3A, B, and C. They're going to be deferred till April 21st. They'll be re-advertised.
Thank you very much.
Question, Mayor? Need a motion, please.
Mr. Burgess?
I'll make a motion with a question.
Been properly moved
I'll second it.
and seconded. Mr. Burgess?
Item A keeps coming up. Seems like every time we put it on the agenda, it gets deferred. Any light on why this is happening? Item A. It's like the 3rd time it's been deferred.
Yes, the applicant is trying to meet with the council and the member of PNC before coming back to the council.
I was just wondering, I noticed it just keeps getting pushed and pushed.
There is one small issue that they are trying to resolve.
Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Thank you. Special presentations. We have the Red Cross Community Update with Bob Jensen and Judy Boyette.
Good evening. Judy and I would like to give you an update this evening, not on the total work of the Red Cross, but emphasis on some of the more important and the newer things. First of all, Red Cross has been in our community since 1915, which is even earlier than there was a chapter in Miami. And we're always known as an organization that provides emergency relief. People think of that in terms of hurricanes and large storms, but we do emergency relief every day. Every week we respond to between 5 and 7 disasters, and those are fires. Thanks to the generosity of businesses and individuals, we're able to provide emergency shelter, food, clothing, and other disaster-related needs. Just in the last 3 months, we responded to 117 fire-related calls. 20% of those calls are in South Dade. Half of the ones that are in South Dade are in Homestead zip codes. 50% of the Homestead fire responses are in one zip code alone, 33032. In the past 3 months, we've assisted 50 individuals, mostly children, 13 adults and 37 children. We've committed about $8,000 in emergency assistance to these clients. And after hearing what's going on in zip code 33032, that's where we're going to begin our fire distribution literature efforts so that we can perhaps slow those down.
As far as Red Cross volunteers, at the Red Cross, volunteers are key. They are the driving force. They are neighbors helping neighbors. And we're looking for individuals and corporate groups to join and become members of the American Red Cross team. In South Florida, we focus a great deal on hurricanes, but we have to remember that the work of the Red Cross is year-round. The volunteers respond 12 months a year, and services continue all throughout the year. Some of the services are fires, of course. We have a lot of fires, and we have to continue to prepare for potential man-made disasters, including terrorism, and additional natural disasters. We also have a speakers bureau, and we're constantly needing speakers to go to organizations such as the Civitans and Rotary to talk about disaster preparedness, preparing yourself, your family, and your business. Don't forget to prepare your business for disasters. A strong group of volunteers here in the Homestead area will certainly help our response team when there are disasters. Beginning in May, next month, every second Saturday, there'll be a new volunteers orientation. So hopefully you can make it if you're not already a volunteer. To sign up or for more information, call 305-248-2024. Go to the website, www.miamiredcross.org. So pick up the telephone, join with us, become a member of the Red Cross team. Thank you.
Thank you.
With us also tonight we have Sam Bidwell, who is the CEO of the Greater Miami and Keys Red Cross, and Jessica Davis, who's our own office manager. Red Cross began supporting the armed forces in World War I, believe it or not, right here in Homestead, and veterans beginning like in 1921 when our federal government was doing a very, very poor job of helping veterans. Today we have two somewhat new services we provide. One is a kind of an informal vet center in our headquarters office down in Florida City, and we supply space to the Department of Veterans Affairs. They focus on confidential counseling available to all retired, active, or reservist members and their families. An effort that the mayor is very aware of is the South Florida Military Family Organization, which is a brand new organization which supports the families of people deployed around the world, but primarily Afghanistan and Iraq, who are not Air Force. The Air Force does a wonderful job of taking care of their people. We have folks who move here because their families are here, whatever, and this organization really supports them. And we also provide office space for that organization. And if you need more information, as Judy said, our telephone number is 305-248-2024, and when you call that number, it'll be Jessica who will be responding.
Bob, thank you, and I would like to brag for 1 minute, and I know Jessica will probably not be very happy about me bragging about her for a minute, but we've had a couple of issues with our oldest daughter. She's had 2 emergency surgeries in the last 2 weeks, and Jessica just happened to stop by, and I'm like, I've got to get to the hospital and get away to get an extra car up there so that my daughter's husband can have a car, because we all ran up there in one car. And she goes, I'll go. And it's Mount Sinai, way over on the east side on the beach. And I said, you'll go. I'll call a friend. She goes, no, that Red Cross, we're here to serve all times. And so literally she drove my daughter's car all the way up to Mount Sinai, following me up there. And at the time of day we went, it was not pretty. It was not a pretty picture. So thank you, American Red Cross, for serving locally in Homestead and any kind of crisis. And she just happened to stop by at the right time, or maybe for her the wrong time. But I really thank you. The American Red Cross is just a wonderful, wonderful organization. We do appreciate everything that you do. And this American Red Cross, is Homestead, Florida City, the South Dade area, has a wonderful presence in Homestead and in the surrounding community. And we thank you for what you do. And I'm very pleased about the military component as well. So thank you so much. Thank you.
One other thing, please. Okay. We would like tonight to present Michelle and the council members our first South Dade American Red Cross poster. Okay. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you so much.
The little girl who created this poster's name is Kadesha. She's a 12-year-old little girl whose family resided in the 58 Giant.
Vice Mayor, would you join me?
She did a wonderful job. She did the various services of the American Red Cross. And we plan to make this a traditional yearly event, to have the poster contest.
Thank you so much.
But thanks again. It's an honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's beautiful. We do appreciate it. It's your turn. Officer of the Month, January 2008, Officer Bryce Barker. Councilman Nelson. How cute is that?
Alyssa, go back and get the baby.
Bring that baby up here.
Go get the baby. Tell Mom to bring the baby up. Good evening, I'm Major Scott Kelly with the City of Homestead Police Department. I'd like to introduce to you Chief of Police, Chief Alexander Roll. To my right, to my left is the Public Safety Chairman, Tim Nelson, and our recipient of the Officer of the Month, which is Bryce Barker, and his beautiful wife, Alyssa is also a police officer with the City of Homestead. She's presently on leave for the last couple of months. They just had a baby girl, Leah, who's sitting in the audience, would come up here, but she's a little shy, plus she had some shots today, so. Bryce Barker's been with the police department with the City of Homestead for approximately a little bit over 8 years. He has 2 years prior police experience prior to coming with Homestead. Since coming with Homestead, he's worked a variety of different positions. He's been assigned to the Uniform Patrol Division, the General Investigative Division, and Special Investigations Unit. During the month of January 2008, Officer Barker handled over 65 calls for service. Included in those calls for service were several that stood out, which created the nomination for this prestigious award that he's receiving here tonight. Officer Barker was instrumental in obtaining information on a marijuana grow house, a hydroponics lab within the city limits of Homestead. He procured the information, passed it on to the detectives, and ultimately resulted in the arrest along with the seizure of a great deal of marijuana from the operation. In addition to that, he had several other narcotics arrests, and the one that really stands out, it's not narcotics related, he, being the Special Investigation Unit, had cultivated several confidential sources while in that unit. While still utilizing those sources even while in uniform patrol, Officer Barker was able to obtain information on the location of a wanted homicide subject. That subject was located, taken into custody without incident, and subsequently charged with homicide. Officer Barker is a great asset to our department. He lends a lot of experience to some of our younger individuals that they can mentor off of, and he's a great asset to our department. So with great deal of pleasure, I'd like to introduce you our Officer of the Month for January 2008, Officer Bryce Barker.
On behalf of the Mayor and Council, I'd like to present this to you, Officer Bryce Barker, for being Officer of the Month.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Also, go ahead and do this. Also with that comes a whole bunch of stuff. Getting a little eye thing here. Awards Incorporated donated the plaque. The City Attorney donated $100. First National Bank of South Florida, a $50 savings bond. Community Bank, a $50 savings bond. Ferguson Jewelers, $75 gift certificate for $25 at Ruby Tuesdays. Global Management Services, $50. Logos, a $50 gift certificate. Dale Blake Chevrolet, a $300 value car service, oil, lube, and filter. Captain Car Wash, free car wash. And Mita Jensen, 2 memberships for the Homestead Community Concerts. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
My wife has agreed to give my speech. She's like, I did? It's funny, time flies. I can remember in the early 90s being one of the police explorers that was standing up here for the city of Homestead. I did become a police officer and was with a different department, but my heart was always here. I tried to get here, and it may sound a little corny, but it's like I'm living my dream. So, and my wife is also a police officer, so you know, it makes it a lot easier at home to have another officer there. So, thank you for the award, and that's all I got.
Thank you very much. The presentation of the joining and lineman certificate is going to be deferred because with all of the power outages, he's busy. We need him out there. Thank you very much. We'll now go forth with the consent agenda.
So moved, Mayor.
Good. The consent agenda has been moved.
I'll second it.
And seconded. Any comments or questions on the consent agenda? All in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes carry. Thank you so much. Public hearings.
Please be advised that the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment on any of these items, please indicate the item number you'd like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. Swearing in. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you now wish either to be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the counsel to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda package on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications concerning any items on the agenda.
Mayor, I have one, Mr. Weiss, I have one on the item B, or an ordinance considering the request of investor services. I've had a few people in the community comment to me about that item.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Weiss, on item D, I spoke with the actual people that are petitioning right after council meeting.
Mr. Weiss? I as well, item D on the prior meeting, but I also on the legislative matters, just like to disclose that on item A1, that I've had several conversations with Waterstone residents.
Thank you. Anything further?
Yes. On legislative matters also, I have had several conversations with several community members from Waterstone, also the applicant, Mr. Bosch, and his attorney, Ms. Tapanez. Meetings on the 18th, the 20th, the 24th, and the 7th.
Same here with the last one, but I didn't have that many meetings. I met with, on tab 16, with Mr. Bosch and Melissa.
Mr. Weiss, are you advising us to disclose legislative as well as
What I'm doing
constitutional?
is that on the legislative items, I think that if people have had conversations, they should disclose them. I think it's probably a gray area, but I think if there's a question, then it should be disclosed.
Okay, because I also met with the applicant.
Okay.
Something new.
Ditto. On everything.
The applicant has been busy.
I also attended the Northwest Section homeowners, no, it wasn't a homeowners, it was just a citizens meeting regarding the, I don't know which item it is, but regarding the office building on Chrome Avenue.
Okay, thank you. Still my turn. At this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on any quasi-judicial item.
Please stand and raise your right hand. I state your name. Hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
James?
Yes. Item A is an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving an amendment to the Malibu Bay PUD Master Development Plan by transferring 2.82 acres from the existing residential Pod H to commercial Pod G, and further eliminating 46 townhouse units in residential Pod H, located southeast of the Homestead extension of the Florida Turnpike, east of Southwest 152nd Avenue, and north of Southwest 312th Street, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
I'll move it, Mayor.
It's been properly moved.
I'll second
And
it.
it's been seconded. Any comments or questions from council?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to know if staff has a report on this.
I'm opening up the public meeting for a staff report. Yes, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and member of the council. Yes, this is a master plan amendment to transfer 2.82 acre of a property of the existing Pod H, which is residential, to an existing Pod G, which is commercial. By transferring this 2.82 acre, we are eliminating 46 townhouses. At the present time, the Pod H is 14.64 acre. After moving the 2.82 acres, the existing Pod H would be 11.75 acre, and Pod G is 11.43 acres. By adding 2.82 acre, will be 14.32 acres. There is going to be a site plan that is going to come for your review and approval within the next few council meeting.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for this, for Ms. Kamali or for the applicant?
Mayor, I have a question. I read planning and zoning minutes, and it is a little bit confusing to follow. You're trying to see what impact this transfer of
land is going to, or zoning is going to have on the residential side of it. Now, I know that there were several comments on significant decrease in green space. Is that an accurate statement, or?
Actually, the applicant provided a breakdown, and at the present time, under the zone, under the residential pod H is 22.8%, and under the green area landscaping for the commercial is 23.5%, very close.
Just say that there's not a problem.
As our attorney informed me, there is no problem. Thank you. The percentage are even a little bit higher for the commercial.
Okay.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to present, or you want to wait for the council members?
We'll be glad to answer any questions. Dick Coker for the applicant.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for the applicant? No. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Lobos? Yes. Councilman McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Nelson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sierra?
Yes.
Councilwoman Baldwin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Was it open to the public comment?
Yes, I had opened the public hearing, but Mr. Gein, if you would like to address this, please come right up.
My name is Eric Gein. I live at 450 Southeast 22 Lane, Homestead, Florida. And I'm here as a resident of Homestead who is concerned about this zoning and rezoning. With regards to the zoning of this rezoning to increase the amount of commercial properties there, potentially is going to eliminate an existing road known as Northeast 9th Court. Northeast 9th Court connects with Northeast 29th Terrace and also connects with Northeast 30th Avenue. Potentially this road, under the rezoning, will be demolished. This will reduce two-way access in and out of Northeast 29th Terrace. I am concerned that we now potentially could turn this two-way access of ingress and egress into a cul-de-sac with only one single road. Northeast 9th Court is currently a fully asphalted, signed and striped highway. And this was not what, if this road gets removed, I don't feel that the residents of Northeast 29th Terrace will have effective evacuation, effective ingress or egress, and also by turning Northeast 29th Terrace into a cul-de-sac. The road is approximately 23 feet wide, and when you take a 36-foot long garbage truck down there, you can't turn it around, so you're going to have to back it up. That's going to be the same thing that happens with emergency vehicles, EMT. It's going to, in my opinion, that's not what the residents bought into, and if we potentially lose this road, we are potentially putting response times in danger, and every second that you need on a response time for EMT is vital. I vehemently oppose this rezoning if Northeast 9th Court is to be potentially demolished in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gein. And let's hear from the applicant, and also let you know I apologize for not being specific and clear about the public hearing. Thank you. Mr. Coker, would you please respond?
Yeah. Dick Coker for the applicant. Just so you know, we had this discussion at the Planning and Zoning Board meeting, and I'm sorry Mr. Gein just doesn't understand the site plan. Maybe it's my fault, and I'm going to try and explain it to you. I know you don't have a roving mic, but I'm going to go up, if I could, and I need to show you this site plan. Okay? Your roving mic.
I know.
So maybe, do you mind if I just...
Let me slip it off.
This is the aerial of the existing development. These are the existing commercially zoned. This is the 2.8 acre site that will be a hotel site. The site plan is coming right behind it. It was approved by P&Z board. At the last meeting, you'll see it probably at your next meeting. This is the existing townhouse development. The roadway that Mr. Geen is talking about is not a roadway, it's an internal driveway to the development. It's just an internal drive. That access drive is being eliminated and the hotel site is being placed into there. But it doesn't change the access to the existing residential. And this site plan has gone through complete review by your staff, your utilities department, your fire department. And part of the criteria is to make sure all those radiuses work for just those types of trucks and the fire equipment. This is a large-scale site plan, so everything looks small, but it's a very big area. All those radiuses work. All those services will be rendered even faster because there'll be more access, because right here is going to be a gate and access through the hotel for emergency vehicles. That was a requirement of your fire department. So the access to and from this site will be faster. Nothing is being eliminated that provides any type of emergency access whatsoever. All this does is change 46 residential townhouses into a 125, 126 unit hotel site. The access for the townhouses remain the same, except that they have an emergency. This was in the original site plan, this was a dead end right here. It was a dead end. Didn't go any further. Now they'll have a gate access through the hotel site. A lot of thought's gone into both the rezoning, of the changing of the use to a hotel site, and to the site plan that your staff has spent a lot of time making sure that it meets all the criteria, including the emergency vehicle, medical, and criteria. We'd be glad to answer any further questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coker.
Just for the record, Mr. Coker, if you could reference that as Exhibit 1 and just state what it is so that the clerk will have a clear record of that.
Thank you. Exhibit 1 is an aerial that I've just shown you for the record, an aerial site plan of the existing with the proposed development overlaid over the existing aerial.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from council for Mr. Coker? Thank you very much. Mr. Geen, go right ahead.
Eric Geen, Madam Mayor, members of council, if Mr. Coker would like to hold up the aerial photograph of the existing condition, I beg to differ that it does not show the existing condition. The existing condition shows...
Here you go.
The roadway that we are eliminating is the roadway just south of the lake. And the access that is being cut off here, which I believe Mr. Coker said would have a gate access. Is that correct, Mr. Coker? That this would be a gated access at this location?
Right here.
Yeah. That would be a gated access and potentially could be closed to the general public and only used for EMT vehicles.
This is also a gated access. It's always been a gated community.
Where I was discussing terminating this road that connects here means that you can't get egress from this way, and you cannot get, the only ingress you'll be able to get is north here and all the way down to the south. And then what happens is your vehicle comes to the back here, your garbage truck or EMT, then they have to back it all the way back out here. I mean, I'm sorry, if this is an existing condition, it would show an existing road. And I beg to differ with Mr. Coker. It is not a lane, it is a designated road. Northeast 9th Court. That is not a driveway. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gein. I'd like to do...
Thank you, Mr. Coker.
Thank you. We have already voted on this item, and there will be a second reading. There will be a second reading on this. But what I'd like to do is direct my comments to Ms. Kamali. Ms. Kamali, has everything that's been stated, has everything been satisfied to the concerns that were presented by Mr. Gein?
Madam Mayor, when the site plan comes to our office, we make sure all the requirements as far as access and the fire department reviews for any emergency access, and we make sure we address everything that Mr. Gein is requesting.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Sure. Let's move on. Next item, Mr. White.
Yes. Tab 13, Item B, is an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, considering the request of Investor Services, LLC, for a rezoning from One Family District R1 to Parking District P for property located on the south side of Northwest 19th Street, just west of Chrome Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. As you know, this item is back before you this evening because of a motion to reconsider. You all had originally voted against this particular item on February 19th, I believe, so it's now before you.
Yeah, it failed on a tie. Yes. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move it. Second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded. We will now open the public hearing. We have had a staff report on this item. Are there any questions? Would the council members like to ask any questions of the applicant?
I know, I've heard through the grapevine that you've addressed all the issues of the surrounding neighbors, and I just wanted to verify that you have in good faith as the applicant done what the neighborhood has asked you.
Yes, yeah. Daryl Cordino, 8885 Southwest 196 Terrace. Yes, we've met twice on 2 occasions.
Thank you. Yeah, I attended the one neighborhood meeting as well, and I have gotten comments from the neighborhood as well. And the comment that I had received was that they were only opposing the parking because they were concerned with the site plan. And I know this is not what we're dealing with now. We're dealing with this one issue. But once they were satisfied that the site plan was being changed, they're now okay with the parking. So this is the feedback that I've been getting. Ms. Helms, I see you coming to the podium.
Maybe I have a question or comment.
Ms. Wellman, please. And then Ms. Lobos.
I attended both meetings, and I have to say you have really jumped through hoops and juggle balls, and the building is now much more softer. It has I think, more neighborly appeal. But my concern, and my major concern, and we're here tonight about the parking, and that is the parking. And I know by eliminating the 3rd floor, you were able to incorporate those office suites in the back of the building. And I saw your drawings, and trust me, everyone, they are beautiful. But this is just my opinion. You know, as far as quality of life goes, it's going to affect the people in the neighborhood. So I have to look at that. And I talked to those folks at the meeting, and I know that you all feel that we know we're going to have a building there. But my concern and question was that I believe your proposal was to have approximately 30 suites, 28 to 30 suites? 24 suites.
Correct.
And then you said that there would probably be no more than 2 to 3 people working in each office suite, but yet we had to cut back on the parking spaces to, what, 90? I had my notes here.
78
parking spaces. So you eliminated how many parking spaces in order to accommodate the drawings?
Approximately 35, I believe, is on the existing site plan.
So that makes, if there's up to 3 employees in each suite, which I don't know if we can guarantee that there's only going to be 3, and all 3 people drive a car, that's 72 parking places. Now I know that code says that you only are required to have one parking space per 300 square feet. And I know that, and I know this is going to pass tonight, but for me, I know it's going to impact. I would have been much happier had there been entrances and exits off of Chrome Avenue, because, and I know you have the curbing, I know you've done everything to try to please, but I'm very worried about the parking. I'm worried about people parking on the streets. I'm worried about the parking in the front. I'm just concerned, so that's where I stand. Thank you, but thank you for everything that you've done.
Ms. Lobos?
Yes, Mayor Bell, thank you. I wanted to make a comment. I do want to acknowledge the petition that is included in our packet, plus prior comments and opinions about the site plan, even though we're not talking about the site plan tonight, and to say I went back to the Northwest Master Plan, and the Northwest Master Plan allows up to 3-story buildings in that area. And so the petition specifically states that the neighborhood does not want to see 3 to 5-story building in our skyline when looking east. I want to assure you that the Northwest Master Plan does not plan for anything above 3 stories, but it did advise that up to 3 stories would be allowed in that area. I also want to acknowledge that I know I've heard that you've been working a lot with the neighborhoods, and so I just wanted to say that's always the way to go. As a council person, I'm not only looking to verify that it's allowed, but also that the neighborhood is going to accept it. And I know that as a developer, you want to be welcomed by the neighborhood. It's not a good start to come in and put something that the neighborhood never wanted in there.
Thank you. Also, Mr. Cordino, I also met with you and sat there, and I want to thank you for what I consider to be an applicant who was really listening to what the neighborhood had to say. You listened very intently. While you certainly could have had a 3-story office building there, you chose to acquiesce to the neighbors' wishes and have a 2-story building there. You bent over backwards, and I appreciate that, because we do want to work, and that's the first thing I advise an applicant is go speak to the neighbors, go speak to them. I actually like the fact that the driveway is not pulling right out into Chrome. I would prefer that not. That would be a logistical nightmare to have more cars just entering in right out of Chrome from the building. I like the fact that the way it goes in off of 18th and then it comes right out on 19th, and the curbing, the way the road is you cannot make a left-hand turn on 19th and go into the community. You have to make a right-hand turn, and the way the curb cut is, it forces you to make a right. So it keeps the traffic out of the neighborhood, yet it's a very nice, smooth transition onto Chrome Avenue. So it really is the best of both worlds, and I think it is the best thing that the developer could come up with. That in turn was working with the community. I live on 19th Street. I live right there, so I pass by this every day. So I want to thank you very much for working very well with the community.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Jen, would you like to, I see you standing there.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Jen Helms, 166 Northwest 19th Street, Homestead, in Northwest neighborhood. I live just west of this property, and it was to my concern that when Mr. Cordino brought forth his site plan, the planning and zoning at 3 stories with a peak roof at almost 5, I was the anti-developer. I know how ironic that sounds.
Does your boss know that?
Probably does now. But I want to say that I know this is regarding parking, but Mr. Cordino has met with our neighborhood twice now. The first time, there were about 50 individuals there. We did have some very legitimate concerns with height, with traffic, with access into the neighborhood. I think that I don't think that the parking lot was typically the issue. I believe it was the site plan. And I think that what he has done has addressed many of the concerns of the residents. At that second meeting, after he had sent out his revision, which then I forwarded out to the residents from the first meeting, I received very few negative comments back. So I really don't think it was the location of the parking or the rezoning of the parking. I think it was primarily the first renderings of the building that were the issue. But he has come to the neighbors one time, and I told everybody to be nice, and then the second time he came back, and it was a very friendly meeting on both accounts. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further public comments before we close the public hearing? I now close the public hearing. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Sorry about that. Councilman McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Nelson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sierra?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
No.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Bless you.
Moving on to tab 14. Item C is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of Royal Home Villas, LLC, for a 6-month extension to a previously approved site plan for Royal Home Villas located on the southwest corner of Southwest 336th Street and theoretical Southwest 169th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A, an approximately 20.95-acre site consisting of 198 townhome units and providing for an effective date.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Move it. I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded. We will now open the public hearing. Is there a staff report on this item?
This is the first 6-month extension for 198 townhouses, only 20.95 acres of property, and is due to delay with the state for wetland mitigation.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for the applicant?
None at this time.
Is he here? Is there anybody here?
Yeah, he's standing there.
I was just wondering if he could tell us how his negotiations are going, I guess, on the mitigation, how things are progressing, and...
Madam Mayor, Honorable Council Member, my name is Ruben Farage, 12801 Southwest 2nd Street. We have everything ready. Everything that have been asked of us have been complied with. The only thing pending for us is for the state to make available the land for the mitigation, which, from my understanding, was supposed to come along sometime either this month or the next month. But all our permits have been applied for, and all our compliance with all the regulatory agencies have been attended to. So the only thing that we're waiting for to break ground is for the state to provide us the allocation for the mitigation.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further comments or questions for the applicant? Any further public comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Nelson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sierra?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Councilman McCormick?
Yes.
Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on, tab 15. Item D is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of Borges Supermarket for the approval of a mural sign to be placed on the upper left corner of the southern face from the existing structure located at 625 Washington Avenue, just south of Southwest 312th Street, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Move it. I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded. We're now open the public hearing. Let's hear from the applicant, and then we can have comments or questions from council directed towards the applicant. Thank you.
Yes, good evening. Freddie Porras, 900 West, Miami Beach, Florida. Thanks again for allowing us to solicit the mural creative. Last time, I know we had some changes that you wanted changed, and that was sent to you through email. All changes were made, and we're very happy to be working with the City of Homestead.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from council? I would like to, Madam Mayor. Ms. Sierra?
I just want to thank you for the changes. Not drastic, everything looks pretty much the same, but just those little touches did make a huge difference when I showed it again to the people, the women in my community. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you. On behalf of Borges Supermarket, thank you so much.
Mayor Bell?
Thank you.
I have a
Yes, we have the Vice Mayor, and then we have Ms. Waldman.
Ms. Waldman can go. She's...
Oh, Ms. Waldman.
Oh, let me go first. Okay. I've done some real soul searching on this one. And this is nothing personal. Trust me, your painting's beautiful. My concern is that I know how hard this council worked for lighting standards, for paint standards, for architectural standards that would be cohesive within the community. And I am just so fearful that if we allow one mural to go up, then it will be very difficult to say no to others. We made that mistake once with the Seminole Theater, and even though it was very, it was very moving, everything was wonderful at the time, but then you start to have problems. And I'm particularly concerned because it is an advertisement as well. So, like I said, nothing personal, but I just can't support it. I just think we'd be opening a can of worms, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Waldman. Vice Mayor?
I noticed, I noticed that there's still one Western Union advertisement, I guess, area up in there, and the other one that was in the bottom right corner has been removed. Is that going to stay out of the building, the final version that's going to be posted on the side of the building, or are they going to add it back in?
Hi, my name is Ricardo Felice, 972 Savannah Falls Drive. Basically, one is going to go around the artwork, which says donated by Western Union, because they're giving
around
us...
Around the full?
Around the full. It's going to be a black around the artwork, and then in the bottom. And then the one that is part of the artwork.
Well, I would have liked to have seen that, because when you brought, your original drawings came in, and there was one Western Union in the bottom, and I believe you told me the letters were going to be 10 to 12 inches high. And now you brought back something that even, to me, isn't a mural anymore. It's become nothing more than an advertisement for Western Union. Yes, Ms. Kamali.
In our file, the only Western Union advertising that we see is only the 3.5 feet that is on the corner of the bottom side on the right. We don't have it anywhere else in our file or around the mural.
Actually, I'd like to address that. It is true, Western Union does appear on there. It's basically being donated by Western Union. The reason that you don't see it on the file, actually, it's actually pretty small. It's on the far right end. There's a building, and it shows Western Union.
It's just building up on the left-hand side that I see, and then in the previous drawing you had in the bottom right-hand corner it said Western Union.
It's up on the screen. You can see it on the bottom.
Yeah,
but there wasn't anything that went around the entire length or height in any of the renderings that I've seen.
Yeah, it's actually like a border, so really the Western Union is not, it doesn't surround it, it's basically, it states on there who donated it to Borges Supermarket.
Well,
I'd like, before you address this, Mr. Manager, I'd like to make a comment when the council's finished, and then I'll get to you. What I'd like to say is, our code allows for this. I think it's beautiful. When I looked at staff recommendation, it specifically says, and it would blend beautifully in the community where it is. And it's in the Borges Supermarket, and it's a very stagnant wall, if you will. And I'm going to read the staff recommendation. It says the proposed sign will embellish an otherwise stagnant facade. In addition, the inclusion of the sponsor is minimal, and it's not the primary aspect of the design. And it's consistent with our code, section 23-7617 of the city code. Of course, a mural is always subject to approval of council, but I think that it is something that is workable. It's in the code. It's allowable. It's lovely. It's consistent. They met with council. We offered our viewpoint. They went back to the drawing board. I'm certainly not going to tell them to go back to the drawing board, then bring them back here and beat them up over it. I think when you look at this huge mural and see a tiny little part of the Western Union, I don't see a problem personally myself, but I think it's valid. I'm not saying it's not a valid thing to bring up, but I'm just saying that...
it's going to be all the way around it. He's saying it's going to encompass the entire mural.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry.
So it's not what's here?
No, ma'am.
Thank you for that clarification.
That's what I'm trying to clarify. Because if I may just for a minute, up on the screen, is that the actual?
That's the actual. Yes.
So it's just Western Union in the bottom corner, still not all the way around it.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yeah.
It's smaller.
Madam Mayor, yeah, this is what I wanted to clarify. It's very, very small compared to the whole area of the 540 square feet that's going to be taking place.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from Mr. White and then the manager. I'll hear from Mr. White.
Just for clarification purposes, I need for the applicant to reference the exhibit that he just showed the council and describe what it is, please.
Yes.
I need this.
And then Mr. Manager.
Actually, it's the same that we have there.
It's not anything different. It's what's on the screen, correct?
Yeah. We actually emailed that same version. If you want, we could send it again, but it's the same one.
As long as it's
Madam Mayor,
on the screen.
Madam Mayor, could I just, Madam, there's so much talking going on and like pointing and that
Yes.
it's not going to make a clear record.
Right.
What is not clear to me is that do we have an exact picture of exactly what you are putting up, not, and we're going to do the blackboard. Do we have an exact rendering of what you're doing, including all the advertising and everything? Does that exist?
And that has to be in the exhibit.
Where is it?
It's actually that.
It's what's up on the screen.
The only difference, The only difference is that the one you are seeing on the screen is a mock-up the way it's going to look at the wall, on the wall. The one that I have here is just the artwork.
Okay, where is the Western Union all around the black border?
It's just on the bottom right-hand corner.
Literally to the bottom right-hand corner, there's a Western Union, and that's actually where we're stating that it was donated by Western Union.
So what's in the council packet is exactly what is going to go up, nothing else?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
No, the council packet doesn't have that one.
Okay. Does the staff have a copy of a specific exhibit? The last thing I want to see is for the council to approve something, and then when it all goes up, we all look at it and say, that's not what was approved. So do we have a specific rendering of exactly what this is that we can attach to the approval document?
I'm sure we have it. That's one of the reasons it's on this screen, because when we made the PowerPoint, we must have it. If it's not in your...
The problem is that when they're going to approve it tonight, I'd like to see a specific piece of paper, I believe in staples, that can be stapled to the resolution so we know exactly what we're getting.
I'll make sure of that. However, I'm sure we have it in our file because we made it as a PowerPoint.
All right.
Mr. Shahara?
Mayor, council members, Richard covered most of the stuff I want to say, but this is a discussion I had with Sherry Friday, I think, and today. In the last submittal they submitted to us, they show actually where the writing was, and it's my understanding Sherry scaled it. It's about 6 inches high by about 5 feet wide.
Actually, the black is, the mural itself is 10 by 54. The black around it is about 6 inch, and the boarding that is on the side is about 3 feet.
So we do have something on the file, and if they, when the gentleman spoke, the gentleman carrying the computer, I'll be very frank with you, I was confused because it's going all around it.
That's what confused me.
Yeah, but the other gentleman explained it and said it's exactly what they submitted. So if your submittal or what you're submitting today is different than what Ms. Kamali is saying, we need to know. If not, then it's what's in file, like the city attorney said, will be what's going to be allowed to appear.
Right. Actually, the creative, which is the actual art, just so I could clarify, what you're viewing on the screens right now is the very top portion that runs across the top is the actual creative. So that is what you should have, and that is what we're submitting, and there's no other changes to it. The bottom portion of what you're looking at on the screens is sort of a backwards view, as if you were looking at the actual building. It even simplifies if you look at the actual Borges supermarket building, there's even a divider on the wall, which is, there's 2 lines in the middle. It's indicating that. So it's kind of a view of what you would be looking at several feet away from the building. But the creative itself is still the same. There's no changes to what the creative is.
Mayor Bell, I have a question.
Thank you. Ms. Lobos?
I have a couple of questions, actually. When Planning and Zoning approved a 6-0, what was in their packet? Was it the actual second drawing, or was it just what we received in our packet?
No, we had to take it back to P&Z again. So the P&Z saw the revised one.
Okay, and then just to kind of say on the actual, what the mural stands for in the city of Homestead and the whole issue of murals going up in the city, one of the things that I do think is a legitimate concern is once a mural goes up, what is the lifespan of it? When is it no longer a pretty mural? Because a lot of the colors on here are very vibrant, very colorful, and because of weathering, it's just natural that at some point in the future, this is going to become an ugly mural because of the coloring and the weathering. So I have a question regarding the material that it's made of, and what is your plan on maintenance on this mural of this size?
May I answer that? Actually, I think I brought a sample of the material. Like I said, and I can go and grab it. It's very easy. It's no painting on the wall. So it's something that it gets damaged. We just take the parts that is damaged and then we post it again. I'm going to grab it so you can see the material.
In the packet, it says that the vinyl is guaranteed to last for 7 years. The quality is guaranteed to last for 7 years. I just wanted to point that out. That's what it says in our staff recommendations.
Exactly. It is. It's a material that's actually put on the wall, so the maintenance for it would make it more easily available to be repaired. And the fading of the colors that you were speaking about, that's also why we're using that material. We want a mural that will withstand the rains and whatnot in the sun to make it look nice.
Thank you.
And this drawing, if I may, Mayor, clarifies what my question was. They had Western Union one time in the bottom, which was original. I had some confusion when he said it went all the way around.
Right.
I thought it was a continuous Western Union, Western Union, Western Union. I'm not sorry.
Yeah,
so,
sorry about the confusion.
Okay, this is much clearer, and thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments from this council on this very important issue?
Western Union getting all this free time.
If all hearts are clear on this item, we will close the public comment. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Waldman?
No.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Councilman McCormick?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sierra?
Yes.
Councilman Nelson?
Yes.
Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
That completes your... That completes your quasi-judicial section of your agenda. Moving on to legislative matters. The first item under legislative matters is tab 16. It's the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of BDG Grove Plaza LLC for a small-scale amendment to the comprehensive plan by changing the land use designation of an approximately 4.6-acre site from low-density residential LRU to light commercial use LCU, located at the southwest corner of Southwest 137th Avenue and Northeast 15th Street as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move it. I'll second it.
It was moved by Councilman Melvin McCormick and seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any comments from council? I do, Mayor.
And I do also, Mayor.
Ms. Lobos and, Councilwoman Sierra and then Councilwoman Lobos.
I would like to state in the last council meeting when this item came up, I did exhibit to be a little bit upset, and the reason for being upset was not so much with the project itself, but the fact that the community, I felt, had not been properly informed about what the project was going to be. Soon after that council meeting, I must say that Ms. Tabanez and Mr. Bosch have taken a very active lead in coming out and meeting with the community members, calling on individual homeowners if necessary, and making sure that the homeowners were heard. And I think that's very important, and it's important to mention that as well. I myself have met with Mr. Bosch on 3 separate occasions, had several conversations over the phone as well. So I think the fact that they, really went out of their way to listen to what the community had to say is extremely important, and I thank them all for that.
Thank you very much. Ms. Lobos?
Yes, thank you, thank you, Mayor. I have to say that after the last meeting where this applicant came forward, I did receive several phone calls from Waterstone residents, kind of like explaining the reason why they couldn't be here. We did question that. Councilwoman Sierra, I did ask where the residents were, and they said that they had not had appropriate time to gather and to meet. I had another phone call recently just to reassure, they were reassuring me that you had met with them, and as I understand it, there's several, compromises that you're making with the residents. Now, I understand their viewpoint, not only everything that I spoke about at the last meeting, I still stand by, but I do think that it's favorable for you to go ahead and meet with the neighbors just like the other applicant did, and their concerns about wanting some green space, about wanting to make sure that the traffic is not too much in that area. And so I still do not have a problem with this so long as the residents continue to have an open line of communication with you. And if that continues to happen, I don't think we're going to have a problem as long as you continue to be accessible to them.
Thank you. I took a drive by the area so they could actually conceptualize the street, the road, and to see what the community was concerned about. And I see that you do have a great frontage on Speedway Boulevard, and that's going to be, I'm hoping, the primary direction of the site plan. Of course, we're not talking about the site plan right here. So I'm glad. I'm always pleased when I see applicants meeting with the community, because that's just the smartest way, basically, for you, and it's the most pleasing way for Waterstone community, because they have to live there, and because this is a change. This is a small-scale amendment. This is a change. So they very much have a vested interest in seeing that what goes in their community is just premier and top-notch. So I thank you very much for meeting with the community as well.
Mayor Bell,
would you like to present, Councilwoman Wadman?
Please, just a quick comment. I was totally against this at the last council meeting. And I think you were very aware of that. But once we sat down, and after they came, we sat down, we had a meeting, they came to me with all the reports, having spoke to people within the community and addressing their concerns. One of my greatest concerns was traffic. And they do have a stacking system already in line, which I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. So, again, based upon our meeting before, I'm very happy that you've met with the homeowners. I think you met with the CDD people, right? And then you had a meeting last Thursday, correct, with the homeowners? Oh, it was.
Turn your microphone on.
Ashley Bosch. I reside at 3907 Harlano Street, Coral Gables, Florida. I'm the applicant on BDG Grove Plaza. That meeting was actually canceled. It's being rescheduled. We will be attending that meeting. It was an HOA meeting for the property directly to our west, but we're waiting for them to advise us as to when that date is, and we will be meeting in that date. We have, though, met on several occasions with the neighbors, and we feel hopeful that we're going to be able to work everything out. We think we've addressed many of their concerns already in a restrictive covenant that we've submitted to the city attorney for their review, and we would love to give you guys a copy today. And I believe that the residents are also coming along in an agreement with the discussions we're having. We're seeing that we're coming to a compromise that everyone will be able to live with.
And if I may, last week at the Military Affairs Luncheon, Mayor, I'm sorry you weren't there because this was a wonderful program. It was the outside consultant came in and gave a talk on just basics of the JLU study, just basics. And I talked to Colonel McCulley about your project to see if it fit within the parameters. I'm sure it does have favorable approval. However, I'm sure the Colonel would like to address it. However, Mayor, I think that it would be wise to have, and I talked to the Colonel about this, to have the consultant come to a council meeting so that it's on camera, so that people can see the guidelines, and he breaks it down so beautifully. It's so basic, explaining the JLUS and just letting everybody know the parameters and what we work under. So with your approval, Mr. Shahada, I'd like for you to work with Colonel McCulley, and we'll set that up. I think that would be a really wonderful presentation, and maybe even take it to some of the, I know when I have my town hall meeting for the at-large seat, I'd like to have that as part of the presentation. So, and also at the chamber luncheon, I talked to some of the chamber people and asking the consultant to come and speak about it. It was a wonderful PowerPoint presentation and just broke it down beautifully, step by step by step. So, thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Madam Mayor Bell and all the council members for all of your support in regards to the fact that we've been meeting with the neighbors, and I reassure you that we will continue to do so, leave open lines of communications, and our intent is only to make sure that we've addressed any issues that they have in the best of our ability.
Thank you. I always like to also assure the Waterstone community, as well as every other community, you just saw earlier this evening over in the northwest area, while they had the B1A zoning, while they still had their zoning, and this is a small-scale amendment yet, so they don't yet have it, we still had the neighboring community still had quite an input in the say-so into the site plan. So this is phase one. You can still have a lot of input into the site plan. So if this goes tonight, you still have a lot of input
left to go is what I'm saying. You still have work to do, but I'm glad that you've been working with the developer. That's very good. I had one question. The meeting you're referring to on the west, is that the Caribe Homes?
Yes, it was an HOA meeting that we were advised, we had given them our information, they contacted us. It was a regular, my understanding was that it was a regularly scheduled HOA meeting for April 3rd for I believe it's Stonebrook to Christian.
Yes, it is.
And it was canceled because I believe that they didn't have enough board members to have that.
When it gets rescheduled, would you just let me know? I would really like to attend as well.
Absolutely, Councilwoman.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Vice Mayor, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Lewis.
Okay, thank you. I want to go back to Ms. Waldman's comment, just to be sure, because I know that there's all sorts of stuff flying around. This is, you were saying, within the JLUs?
No, I just asked, I'm sorry, what are you referring to?
No, your comment about the JLUs, is there some conflict?
No, I just said that it was a wonderful presentation and it talked about noise, and I do believe that when the Colonel speaks, he'll be able to explain it better, but you do fall within the noise boundary of the JLUs.
So is everything okay with this applicant, or are you going to give a presentation on this? You're going to comment on this? Okay.
Approximately 18 letters here from residents and workers in the area supporting our project that were given to us by a neighbor this evening, so we'd like to put that into the record.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and citizens of Homestead. My name is Kimberly Felipe Ochoa, and I'm the Vice Chair of the South Dade Venture, better known as Waterstone CDD. I've met with the developer and the attorney and a couple of the council members, and I see this developer wanting to really give back to the community, and I think that's very important, and I hope other developers follow suit. I just want to say that first and foremost.
Excuse me, just 1 minute. Are you speaking on behalf of yourself or on behalf of the CDD?
I'm speaking on behalf of myself and the CDD.
Well, if you're speaking
because
if you're speaking on behalf of the CDD, then we need to ask, under our rules, we need to ask you some questions. Which
sure.
Is, did the CDD have a meeting regarding this item?
No.
Okay. So
well, it's tabled for this Thursday.
Okay, so they haven't voted on this item?
No.
Okay, so then the council needs to know that when somebody's representing an organization, because people get up, no offense, but that's why we have these rules, so that somebody doesn't say, I represent XYZ Homeowners Association, just because they're the president, they may not have voted. In this particular case, the CD has not taken an official vote, so if it's all right with you, you need to speak on behalf of yourself, because they really haven't authorized you to speak then.
Okay, I live at 2601 Northeast 41 Road within the community of Waterstone, and I've met several times with the developer and a couple council members, and what they're proposing to do would only impact our community in a positive way. It'll bring better healthcare providers here to our city, which will enable Homestead Hospital to be staffed with the specialties that this area needs. So just that in regards to that specific point, because I think all of us here want Homestead to be something big and want our property values to go up. But if Homestead Hospital does not become the hospital it is in Kendall, and in Doctors Hospital, and I think that's the only two, and South Miami, the way that those specialists have, or the way those hospitals have access to specialists, Homestead will not become the city that it needs to be. Nor will our home values reach what we would like them to see like they are in Kendall, because I know I would love for my property value to be something like it is in Kendall. So having said that, I'm in favor of what they're proposing, this land use change, only with contingency on a covenant, which we've met several times, and we're going to iron out hopefully all of those specifics, and hopefully when it comes back for that part of the process, I should say, it will just impact us favorably. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kimberly. Appreciate that. Any further comments from the public? Yes, sir.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Councilman. My name is Colonel Mike McCulley. I'm representing Homestead Air Reserve Base as part of this public comment on this piece of property. And thank you for the time to do this. The base basically is not in favor or is not concerned with public safety with this particular piece of property. We do want to let the city and the landowners know that parts of the property do fall within the ACU's requirements for noise, or what we call the noise areas or zones that go with that particular study. The issue is as aircraft ramp up, the jet noise starts getting higher and higher. That noise travels, so it's not fixed. So it will go into that property, and we're asking that the landowner look at different parts of the design as we go forward with that property in a sense of noise reduction in the building and looking at those issues. So we, as a good neighbor, the Air Force likes to do that. We let our neighbors know that we generate a lot of noise, and now and in the future. And speaking of the future, with the announcement of the F-35 coming in here in the next couple of years, which is a bigger aircraft with a bit more noise, that they're aware that is a good possibility that happens. I also have copies of the citizens brochure that I'd like to put into the record that talks about the noise contours that we have with the base and part of the 2007 ACUS study. So. Also, Councilman Waldman, we'd be happy to come at any time. The council or the mayor would like to hear the revised ACUS JLUS briefing that we provided to the MAC Council. So if you, anytime you'd like to do that, please give us a call. We'd be happy to come out. I'm a new citizen to Homestead. I just bought a home here, and great little city. Glad to be here. Been here about 2 months in the house, and a lot to do, and so we're very happy to be here, both my wife and I. So again, the Air Force would like to let our neighbors know about the possible noise issues and the study and any other questions that anyone might have for the Air Force.
Well, Colonel, I want to thank you for being here tonight. I'm delighted. You're always welcome. This council and this former council, we've always worked very hard to have a wonderful relationship with the base, been very protective of encroachment on the base, as well as the racetrack and the base, which really works well together. So we're so happy to have you here. I've been an active member of the Military Affairs Committee for a little over 4 years now, and I couldn't be there because I was lobbying Washington, D.C., but I love the Military Affairs Committee. And I don't know if you just know this, but we just voted to put the Air Force jet back in the logo on the city seal.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you.
During the last council, right before the election, I tried my hardest to get the jet back on, but I couldn't get the support from any of the council members. So I made that one of my first priorities, is to get that jet back on the seal when I became mayor. So it's done, and do we have a picture we can flash up?
Yeah, it looks great.
Let's show you a picture.
I saw it earlier.
So that's now a done deal, and I'm very happy about that. So it's worth the wait. There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Yay.
There you go. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
And by the way, Colonel, that what you call noise is not noise. That's what we call the sound of freedom. So
absolutely.
Good noise. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Really appreciate it.
Take care.
Any Mr. Shahada?
Mayor, just to understand, so you want me to coordinate a workshop with the Air Force consultant, or
that would be fine. That would be fine. I know I'm very well acquainted with JLUS, APZ, and ACUS. So maybe and I think the council has done a very, very good job. So whatever the preference is fine with me.
Mayor Bell, I think we had talked about you coming to a council meeting,
right,
and then possibly a town hall meeting. So those were the arrangements we had made. So I'll work with staff and the convenience of...
Just let us know and we'll make sure we're there.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much for being here tonight. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yvette Yepes. I live at 1371 Northeast 42nd Avenue in Stonebrooks 2. I live on the west side of the project that Mr. Bosch is building. I would like to let everybody know that we have met certain homeowners have met with Mr. Bosch, and he has addressed our concerns, and he has listened to what we wanted, some clarifications as, especially our views, what we're going to be listening to throughout the whole entire time that he's going to be building back there, and he has addressed everything as far as the time. He has addressed everything, and I would really appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Oops.
Good evening. Albert Miranda. I live at 2112 Northeast 38 Road in Homestead, inside Waterstone. I drive by this site almost daily, and I'm actually anticipating some more commercial space. Been here for 4 years since we moved down. We're part of, I guess, the new Homestead, and there hasn't been a lot of resources to us here. I'm driving, 25, 30 minutes up to Miami to go see doctors, to go visit friends and family that live up there, as well as going to do certain shopping in a more comfortable environment. There's not a lot of that down here yet. It's been a lot of anticipation, so I'm all for this project, and I hope at some point the council and the mayor vote the same way. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Any further comments or questions from council?
No.
We'll close the public hearing. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Councilman McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Nelson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sierra?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Moving on to your next item, it's tab 17. It's the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of Joseph Longo for a small-scale amendment to the comprehensive plan by changing the land use designation of an approximately .46 acre site from medium-density residential MRU to light commercial use LCU, located at 29 Northeast 14th Street between North Chrome Avenue and Northeast Chrome Terrace, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. This is second reading.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move it. I'll second it.
It's been properly moved by Councilman McCormick and seconded by Councilman Nelson. Initial comments from council? Is there a staff report necessary for this item?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing. Any comments or questions on this item? Close the public hearing. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Councilman McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Nelson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sierra?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next item is an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, establishing a city advisory board by creating a new Division 9 Homestead Community Image Advisory Board for Article 3 Boards, Committees, Commissions of Chapter 2 Administration of the City Code, providing for qualification and appointment of members, establishing terms of office, providing for rules of procedure, providing for jurisdiction, providing for standards of conduct, providing for severability, inclusion in the code, and effective date.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded by the Vice Mayor, and I think he has a stake in this item. Any comments from council?
Just one, Mayor, if I may.
Yes,
As I stated at the COW last week, we are accepting applications. We're going to have 7 positions on this board to help myself and the rest of the city and with our beautification and many other things that we're going to reach out and try to do. So I just wanted to let everybody know that there's 7 positions that are available, and they can send their information to Patty, or excuse me, to Sheila, I guess is the appropriate channel, to be forwarded to the proper people to see who's going to be selected for it. And I just want to thank everybody for their interest and look forward to their support and help.
Thank you so much. Any further comments or questions from council? Any comments from the public? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilman McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Nelson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sierra?
Yes.
Councilwoman Waldman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Mayor Bell?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Any public comments?
Good evening, my name is Jason Culler. I'm at 85 Northwest 21st Street in Homestead. My concern, or just something I should voice, is I see a lot of commercial areas going up next to residentials, and the residential people are not being told in a manner that would be nice, or we're going back to revisit the homeowners because they weren't told, and some even further in than the boundaries that the City of Homestead sets, residents are affected by this, and they don't necessarily have to attend by law to the meetings and stuff, but they're also affected. I'll use 19th Street as an example. I live on 21st Street, and you can have a giant parking space, but everything looks nice when it's houses and that were refurbished into businesses. This is a giant structure, I'm sure, that will be not conform to that area, excluding the bank and the church that are there. This is a traffic area. It's kind of getting congested without further businesses, and I see these borders around the residential areas as a concern instead of keeping them intact as just strictly residential, and it's just maybe something we should look at in the future. The Circle K used to be there, and now it's a rented out place, and it's nice that it's not a Circle K anymore. But I just am concerned that if we keep encroaching on the residential areas, we're going to push some better citizens out of what are nice areas, and it's not going to be the standard of living that I'm accustomed to in my neighborhood, or even other people's neighborhoods that are just moving in on a freshly built house. Just I think that should be kept in the back of their minds. Maybe a practice should be put in place to better inform the residents of what's happening, instead of having to revisit something and holding up people that have projects online from doing what they need to accomplish, and we don't have angry residents. And
Well, Mr. Kohler, I think your point about making sure all the residents are notified is very well taken, but I would also like to remind you, like this particular 19th Street parcel that you referred to, that's Zone B1A. It's been Zone B1A, and if you look at the Northwest Master Plan, you'll see that is Zone B1A. So actually, it's right on Chrome Avenue, which is the perfect position for B1A. So it's interesting, though, that when you purchase a home behind that property, you should know that it's Zone B1A. You should do your research and investigate. And actually, there's been a sign up there that said B1A for as long as I can possibly remember. So I understand your point, and I'm not trying to diminish your point, but just do your homework and do your research when you buy into a community, especially if you're buying on a Chrome Avenue off of a Campbell Drive or off of Speedway Boulevard or whatever. Do your homework and make sure, because this is zoned B1A. So basically, there's been no encroachment, if you will. This is not an encroachment whatsoever because that B1A zoning was there.
No, I understand that the zoning's been there. It's just, the house that I have has been in my family it's been 30 years now, and this was long before it was zoned for that, before when Mr. Carpenter owned it. But what I'm saying is, they only go a couple blocks in. They're not asking for input from people 3-4 blocks over. I never got anything, asking if I was concerned about traffic, because it's going to spill in 9th Street. The bank draws a pretty good crowd when people come in on Friday. And I'm just wondering if that, and I'm living on a corner, people fly by my house all the time. Is this going to draw more people into the neighborhood instead of keeping them on Chrome? Because it's a pain in the butt to get out of 19th Street, 20th Street. You go out the back way, you can hop out into the city anywhere else driving through the neighborhood.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Business from the city manager?
Mayor, Council, I have no business.
Thank you very much. I would like to let Mr. Burgess go first with his comments because he does need to leave early.
Well, I just want to welcome Robex, one of our new businesses that had their grand opening yesterday over at the Oasis Public Shopping Center, and they put on a great smooth, I call it a smoothie, and I get corrected, and it's called a natural drink or something, so I don't want to get in too much trouble. Also want to tell Chief it was great to go over and see the new command post police have got to use this past 2 weekends ago at the races, and that's something to be proud of and quite something to show off for the city, so everybody should be proud of. And it was the drug money that bought it for us, so I guess we should be thanking them and tell them to keep bringing it to us. The Mayor's Youth Council, I've had a couple meetings, and we've got something in the works for that. We're going to be changing, I believe, the whole layout of how that is set up and what it does and the aspect of that. And we've got some more workshops that I'm going to have with we're putting together a group of youths that belong to it and try to come up with some new ideas and do some things that were a little discouraged the way things were done in the past. So we're going to try to do it. And one quick question, I spoke with the attorney about it, and I forwarded something to our city manager over the weekend. I've been getting a lot of calls and complaints, and I know it sits outside of Homestead, but the blasting that continues in Florida City has now gone to bigger heights. I never used to feel it where I live, but now all of a sudden I'll be standing in my house and the whole house starts shaking. So I know that it falls in Florida City, but I don't know if maybe the manager or somebody here at the city can put me in the right direction, somebody to get in touch with. I understand it's a county issue, but it's something that needs to be addressed because what I understand is they've got a petition with 400 to 500 names on it already of people that are claiming damage or not claiming damage, but possibly damage. It's a tough proof, but if maybe the manager or staff could help me with that, get going in the right direction.
Council members, just for clarification, the issue was taken really out of the hands of the county to the state fire marshal. And frankly speaking, since it ended up in the state fire marshal hands, it's been a very difficult process.
Okay.
There were a few years ago we brought somebody from the state fire marshals to the office here, and we had discussions with them, and I can tell you it wasn't very helpful. I don't know which one of the council members were attending. You were there. It was frustrating.
Vice Mayor, Mayor Bill, if I could just comment on Vice Mayor's comment, because I had it in my business too tonight, John. I attended the last Florida City Council meeting, and that was the meeting that final approval was given to Atlantic Civil to continue blasting. So I have already made contact with Mayor Wallace. I'm sure he would appreciate you as well making contact, because I get calls constantly, and I have a home office and I'm at home, and it's out of control. And Dale, you told me yourself. I mean, the tiles are breaking, the foundations are cracking, pools. There's trouble. It's trouble. So I sure would appreciate some help, Vice Mayor, in this.
Or maybe we can send, if I could get a number or whoever, and maybe we can get the Keysgate delegates together and we can do something, since I knew it was kind of out of the city's hand, but we were kind of at a loss of where to go. I knew it wasn't really a county issue anymore, so.
We will get the information.
Thank you. Thank you. And Mayor, thank you, and Councilman Nelson, thank you for letting me go, and sorry I've got to run.
Thank you, John. Councilman Nelson?
First of all, I'd like to wish my wife Diana a happy birthday. Today's her birthday. Not allowed to say how old. And second, Councilwoman Sierra and I attended a underage town hall, underage drinking town hall meeting at Homestead High School. You'd be amazed at how many kids these days are drinking at 13, 14 years old. They had a couple kids on stage that were 14, and it'd been less than a week or two since he had had a drink, and they were talking about it, and there was a lot of kids from the school there attended it. It was very good and very, very good. A couple of Homestead officers also came down for us, and I appreciated that. They came on short notice. Second, went to the Indy race. The command post is wow. And it's not just for Homestead. This is a command post that can go anywhere and help out. It's self-contained. It is amazing on what this unit can do for every community. Tap into the phone lines, create their own city functioning, again, so their city won't be down. And I'm very happy to see that. And there's a lot of hard work went in, a lot of thought. It's very good. Last week, a few of us attended the D.C. trip, which we lobbied our lobbyists to try and get some money for some much-needed things down here. And I hope we did a good job. I'm not going to say it. Like to, again, thank the police for a lot of hard work they put in on getting a very dangerous criminal back behind bars. It could have been very bad if he stayed out and, with the threats that were made. Very happy with the job you guys did to get him back in. Thank you. So that's all.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Sierra?
On Friday, April 11th, come join the American Cancer Society Relay for Life as we celebrate the survivors and remember those who lost the battle against cancer. The event will take place from 4 p.m. until 12 a.m. at the new site, which is at Homestead Hospital. This year's theme is children's storybooks, and the Homestead City team has selected Curious George Goes to the Circus. Our team has already collected $1,841.39. In fact, we're continuing our efforts from now until Friday. We are doing donations as the suns and the moons that you see up on the podium. The suns represent those that have combated cancer and are survivors, and the moon are for those that have lost their battle to this terrible illness. We will also be selling soup tomorrow at the city clerk's office. We're going to continue our bake sale on Thursday and Friday. And we also have raffle tickets for a 2008 Ford Focus going on. I want to thank everyone that's been involved. This has been an amazing effort by so many people. And Christy, who's not here, Thomas Rivas, and Sheila Paul Shedd have really taken the lead on this, and it's absolutely amazing, and I thank them both so much. Today, we attended the B. Pesco Lunchtime Lecture Series, which the title was The Rhythms of Haiti. We had the choreographer, Mr. Ovida Alva, performed the dances while his wife described each of the rhythms. She did inform us that Haitians have 401 different rhythms that depict their different aspects of their culture. We only did get to see 6 of them, but it was very nice. In reference to the Education Committee, on Tuesday, the COW meeting, we will be presenting the compact for first reading and first approval from Council. I also want to mention that the Miami-Dade County Public Schools Title I Migrant Education Program is having its, It's having its Title I Migrant Education Program, and state partner, the Mexican American Council, will be hosting their 24th annual Migrant Student Recognition Program, which will take place on May 8th at 6:30 at Signature Gardens. The first Tourism Committee meeting is this Thursday. We do have 7 voting members, but advisory memberships are available if you're interested in coming by. We want to ask you to help Homestead celebrate National Earth Week. It's free fun for everyone. It's the first green scene of South Florida, including dancing in the streets and much more. It's going to take place on April 19th at the Homestead Historic Downtown. Sorry. That's okay. Last but not least, and most important, I will be hosting a first in a series of town hall meetings. There's some flyers in the back. The meeting will take place on Thursday, April 17th, which is next week, at the Waterstone Grand Clubhouse. Please join me and other members of the Homestead City Council as we provide updates on items of interest to the community. This meeting is being held for the residents of Council Seat Number 5, which includes Waterstone, Malibu Bay, Oasis, and the Grove at Waterstone. Although anyone is able to attend, additional town hall meetings will be held in the area that pertains to each council seat throughout the year. Let me know if you're interested in attending by RSVPing to my email address, nsierra@cityofhomestead.com. We also have voter registration forms in the back. We're doing a voter registration drive, English, Spanish, and Creole, and we also have the new Directory of Social Services back there that has information from Homestead, City of Homestead, and City of Florida City. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Councilwoman Waldman.
Thank you, Mayor. I am so very pleased to report and announce that Representative Mario Diaz-Balart listed the Biscayne Everglades Greenway project as his #1 transportation request for Congress, and that Representative Ross Layton has co-sponsored this request. It's a complicated process because all of you know that funding has been cut from so many issues. However, since Congress has been reducing funding for congressionally directed funding earmarks, which are not previously authorized, this enables our Greenway to be I'm trying to find the right words. If we use creative opportunities and we use the right language, I think that will help secure authorization language to make it easier to then secure the earmarks that are there to be funded. We feel sure that there will be an opportunity to authorize the Biscayne Everglades Greenway project, as there are a number of park and public land bills introduced this year. And I would really like to thank Mario and Eliana for their continued support in the project and their belief in the project. It's really a dream come true for him to make this his #1 transportation issue, so I'm very happy about that. I've been working with Redland Tropical Gardens for years and years and years. Merv serves as a board member and has as well, since the beginning. I think you're a charter board member. But they asked me to give them a hand, and I designed their banner, their Green Scene South Florida banner. And thank you, Robert. I'm sure you probably got it up today? Okay, thank you very much. And I also want to thank Clara Waterman Powell, because I can design and I can do my artsy thing, but I'm not that good with computers, so she tweaked it and put it in the format that we needed. I already told you about the Florida City Council meeting. That was very interesting, and I'd be happy to work with anybody on that. I thoroughly enjoyed the last Chamber of Commerce luncheon. Evelyn Greer was a guest speaker there. And she's the best. I mean, if she had not got started on her projects, the minute she came out of the gate, that funding would have been taken away. And I was really proud to hear all the accomplishments and all the good things that are happening in the schools. It was my pleasure to sit on a panel of 5 members in Dade County with the naming of Mandarin Lakes Academy. It was a long, arduous process. I had no idea that so much work went into the naming of the school, but it was something that I really enjoyed doing, and look forward to doing that again. I was given a tour, Chief, you were there, of the command center, and got to try out the new little 4-wheel, what do they call it? T3? I feel like I'm in that movie, R2-D2, but anyway, they were great. And the command center, I'm telling you, it was just fabulous. I ended up staying there 2 hours. I mean, it was just fabulous. And many thanks to Josh and Todd for all their freebie work that they did. I mean, it is just state-of-the-art and probably 1 in a million. Probably, I don't know where in the United States they have another one like it, but I'm sure ours is the best. Again, congratulations to the racetrack. They had a very successful and uneventful race this past week, and that's always good when it comes off without a hitch. And I was so thrilled to be invited by Colonel Daly and Colonel Cully to do a tour of the base, and we went up in the tower, and we were able to actually see a training video being filmed, and it was so cool. I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. There was a lead helicopter, then there was a Cessna, was it a Cessna? A Cessna, they were the bad guys, and then they had the other helicopter come in, and the lead helicopter was filming this event, and they actually landed, and the guns were there, and it was a training video, and I was so thrilled. Thank you so much, Colonel McCauley. It was just a dream come true for me, and I have to go back because I forgot my camera. So it was just wonderful, and we were able to share some of the plans for the base, and they're very exciting plans for the base, interacting with Dade County and other entities. So I look forward for all of that being announced soon. I too went to the grand opening of Robux in the Oasis Shopping Center, and I had my first taste of wheatgrass juice. I'll always remember it too. It was, she says, it's good for you. And I've known Christy for years, the enterprising young lady that did it. She goes, just shoot it. And I said, I've never shot anything in my life. So here I am. She says, here, take this orange juice. And I actually walked away. There were a bunch of people there, and I walked away. And who did I stand beside of as I'm trying to get it down? Was the DJ for Thunder Country. So he's getting all this on tape. You know, it was me choking, and anyway. It was, I'm going to try it again. I actually felt that when I took it. I I'd like to thank Councilwoman Sierra for stepping up to the plate when I initiated the meeting with the manager and staff for Relay for Life. I'm the honorary chair again this year for Relay as a cancer survivor. It means a lot to me, and I just want to thank everyone in the city. I guess I'll come have soup tomorrow, but thank you, Ms. Sierra, for jumping in there, and everybody else, Christy, and everybody that, Joanna, I know you've worked really hard on it as well. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Actually, Ms. Sierra, I think it goes to 1 a.m.
Yeah, I was just reading that now.
Yeah, it goes to 1 a.m. But it used to go until the next morning, until like 10 or 11 a.m. So that was my request, that we not do that ever again, and we got approval, and so it's 1 o'clock now. So let's hope that everybody comes out and help us stamp out this horrific disease. Art South's 7th birthday celebration will take place Saturday, April 12th. Romero Brito, a famed international artist, will be featured as the guest there. He will be present from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. He will be painting with children of different ages, different styles. It's going to be wonderful. He's such a wonderful artist. From 2:30 to 3:30 p.m., they will be having a musical performance by the Greater Miami Youth Symphony for a minimum fee of $5. And then the Alpha Dance Company, a Haitian folklore and jazz company, will be performing from 4 to 5, and that's free of charge. The artist studios will be open from 3 to 7, and there are 3 new art exhibits if anybody would like to go and experience that day. And the last thing I'd like to announce is that Good Hope Equestrian Center is a center that works with special needs children using the therapy of the horses to benefit these little special guys. So the Angels have supported them for years, and I know the city's going to support them too with a table. But if anybody's interested in going, it's their 5th annual Run for the Roses event, and it's on Derby Day, Saturday, May 3rd. And I have a phone number if anyone's interested. It's 305-258-2838. Mayor Bell, best wishes to your daughter. I hope she recovers rapidly.
Thank you very much.
And I won't be here with you the next council meeting, but hopefully I'll be on I don't know if I'll be on a telephone conference or not, but I have to have a little bit of surgery, and I'm fine. It's just, I knew it was going to come sooner or later, so, but I will be having surgery on the 18th, and I'll be missing 1 council meeting, and I'll be with you on the telephone if I have to miss any more. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Lobos.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to talk a little bit about the recent lobbying trip that we have taken. It was my first time since being elected, for the first time that I got to travel to both Tallahassee and D.C. to lobby on behalf of the city. And one of the things that impressed me about Tallahassee, or left a big impression on me, was when we were sitting in Governor Chris's office. One of the staff members said, I just want you to know how important it is for you to come up here and give a face to these project descriptions. And he shared with us the list of projects in this year of budget restraints and budget cuts of what it is to have a face, because now when they talk about it, they'll be able to recall the conversations. And of course, we had all of our selling points for the city of Homestead. And as Councilwoman Waldron said, both Mario Diaz-Balart and Ileana Ross-Layton have made a priority for both the senior center as well as the Greenway. And Councilwoman Waldron, while I was in Governor Chris's office, I was able to tell him about the grand opening, that ride that we had, and just kind of share with them how many riders were out there. And they were pretty impressed, and they kept asking questions. So, they're just not nodding, they're asking questions as well. And so just to be able to go up there and feel the pride of Homestead, to be able to tell them about all the wonderful things that we're doing when it comes to water issues, on the fact that we do recycle our water, and that all of our water goes back into the Biscayne aquifer. That's a big selling point, because you cannot imagine how many municipalities do not do that. So we'll see where we go with the funding. We're going back to Tallahassee in days, and while I know it's a social event, we are going to have a couple of meetings, and hopefully following up with Senator Larcinia Bullard. She has also made some of our water projects a priority, and so we will be pushing again this coming week to make sure that she keeps Homestead as a priority. aside from that, I'd just like to also say, Councilwoman Sierra, breast cancer is such a personal issue with the number of women that it affects. I know that it has touched my family with the number of women that have actually passed away. So although not, I support it, and I just want to let you know that it personally touches my heart to know that we're doing this much. And every year I know that we get closer and closer to a cure, and it's something that touches a lot of women just in these council chambers. I'm sure it's a personal issue for many of us. And that's all I have. I am, for my work, going into my last audit this coming week. So I am so looking forward to it being done and over with. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman McCormick?
Thank you, Mayor Bill. I would like to start off by saying thanks to the Utilities Department and those involved in getting the lights on at Blakely Park. That was one of my first initiatives when I first got on council, and the lights are up, and I go out right by the park at 9 o'clock, and I see people that are still working out for that. That excites me a lot to see that the people are utilizing what the city has put in place for them to use. Also, I would like to thank the city manager and those who are involved in this project also with the sidewalks on, I believe it's 10th and 11th Avenue, or either 11th and 12th Avenue. I'm not sure the avenues, but the sidewalks are being laid down. I think the avenue is complete already, and I'm very excited about that also. And one thing about the Washington trip that I really enjoyed was when we were speaking about the projects that we have for the city of Homestead. They all received as well. They were very excited about the Greenway project, about the senior citizen, about the senior center. So I think we'll do good in receiving the funding for those projects. So just cross your fingers, and I think we'll do all right, like I said a few seconds ago. And that's all I have for this week, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think the lobbying has been stated very, very well. And Councilman Lobo stated, and I can't overstate how important it is. The FaceTime is exactly right. And, I've been saying that for a long, long time, that the fact that they saw us there as a cohesive unit working towards the goals of the city of Homestead for funding. And what we did is, because there are so many cities that come at them with so many requests, and the funding is so extremely tight, both in the state of Florida as well on the federal level, that we tend to pare our requirements or our requests down to a few. So what we will do is, while we may have 25 or 30 needs, we'll pare it down to 5 fairly substantial needs. And they go to water projects, road, it would be water and sewer, road, the senior center, the command center, and then we also have the Greenway project. So those are our projects, and we all work on lobbying those projects. I will say our congressional delegation receives us very, very beautifully. Always wonderful. We are treated beautifully by Congressman Mara Diaz-Balart as well as Ileana Ross-Leighton. Just, they're so warm, and they're working. I know that they're working hard for us, and so I do greatly appreciate that. We've had good FDOT contacts when we go and lobby in Tallahassee, great FDOT contacts. So as we're sitting over dinner with someone from FDOT, we can share with them what's happening and the needs in the city of Homestead. And they are impressed when they find out that the city of Homestead is basically a self-sustaining city with its own police department, wastewater treatment plant, sewer plant, electric utility plant, and the fact that we are doing as well as we are in these huge days of tightening of the belt, budget cutbacks, and the fact that the city of Homestead was able to reduce its ad valorem tax rate again. So it's been fairly impressive to those on both the congressional level as well as in the state of Florida. So anyway, I want to thank you all for your prayers for my daughter. Thank you so much. I look forward to a great Relay for Life. And Ms. Lobo's touched on it. I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to talk about it very often, but I did lose my mother to breast cancer back in 1989, so this also is near and dear to my heart. So I want to thank you very much and hope everybody supports Relay for Life. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.